we have been working with charcoal, which is a new art supply for us. And so we have been, we worked with just the charcoal itself to create a sphere and a value scale just using the pencils. And then yesterday we worked with some different blending techniques and some geometric shapes, creating a blended effect with a brush, a blended effect with an eraser, and a blended effect with the tortillon. Today you are going to decide which of these four techniques worked best for you. Okay, so we have the option to blend with a brush, blend with an eraser, blend with the stump, blend with just using the pencil themselves. And we're going to be continuing our practice in charcoal by working to shade with an object. Okay, so I'm going to imagine that my shape practice is down here at the bottom, and I'm actually going to go ahead and turn to a fresh sheet of my charcoal paper. There are images in Google Classroom for you to use of peppers. So you can see here, I have some of them printed out on paper. It is actually nice to just pull that up on your Chromebook screen and look at it while you work. It is a little bit more realistic to looking at an actual object while you work if you are looking at it on your Chromebook screen rather than looking at it on a piece of paper. But many people find that drawing from a sheet of paper, drawing from a photograph, is easier than drawing from an object. The reason that happens is that the three-dimensional space has already been transformed into two-dimensional space. And so that's why many people find it easier to work from a photograph than they do to work from an actual object. Because some of us are at home and some of us are here, we will work from these photos today. So you're gonna go ahead and choose the one that you feel that you like the best. I really enjoy drawing this one with the inside structure of the pepper. So that is the one that I'm going to use. You can see I have my charcoal pencils ready to go in both white and black. And today we're gonna use something new. This is called Vine Charcoal. So this will be in your supply kit. If you are here in the classroom today, I will give you Vine Charcoal to use. We had talked briefly about Vine Charcoal, that it is super erasable, more erasable than the pencil, and super easy to get rid of. So what I'm gonna do is use the Vine Charcoal for my contour line drawing. And the cool thing is that I'm going to get the capability to do some planning sketch using the Vine Charcoal and not having to be super worried about erasing any of this, because Vine Charcoal is incredibly temporary. So you can see that I'm going to do my contour line drawing with that Vine Charcoal, and I'm going to be able to just what we call draw through. So this like lump on the backside of the pepper curves right through the stem, and I'm going to be able to just go ahead and draw that, because I will end up being able to cover that very easily with the charcoal once I enter into the actual shading process. So it is a real advantage of the Vine Charcoal in that it kind of helps you not have to erase so much. So I do really recommend that you use it for your contour line drawing. So you can see that as I've been talking, I have been working on the contour of this pepper. And this is the first step, obviously, for any drawing that we will ever do. Some of this will become shading detail, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple of these little seed nuggets here. And now I'm gonna check, right? I'm gonna check in with my drawing because it feels a little funky to me. So if I use my pencil as a way to check some angles, I can see that I've maybe stretched this a little bit and the top is a little bumpy. And so, ta-da, my Vine charcoal here, I'm going to just be able to get that off of my sheet just using my fingers. A tissue, a piece of paper would work. And I'm going to be able to just go ahead and adjust my drawing so that it is more accurate. So that's definitely something that you want to take the time to do. Now we are drawing peppers and they're natural objects, right? And so there will be some ability for us to, it is a pepper, right? Peppers don't all look exactly the same. So, but I am gonna fix this a little. So it was kind of funky looking. And some of that funky looking has to do a little bit more with the fact that there aren't any shadows or highlights or anything like that right now. So there we go. My pepper, like contour line drawing is pretty much complete. And now I am going to begin the shading process. I do not want to shade with Vine charcoal because of this. Like you saw, I just rubbed it off with my hand. I could shade a whole drawing with the Vine charcoal. It's just gonna rub off, it doesn't stay. So I do have to set my Vine charcoal aside now and switch to pencil. And what I'm gonna do is the exact same process as working with any of the rest of the pencil stuff. I am going to, I'm gonna kind of define some of my space here a little better. Like this is that lighter section. Gradually gets darker in here. So I'm gonna start with my darker values. And I'm going to just work my way through the pepper. I'm not gonna worry right now a ton about this detail-y section here in the center. I will kind of come back to defining like some of the edges of some of these funky little seed pouches that are here. But right now what I'm more worried about is just getting this dark. I can see that it's incredibly dark and then it gradually lightens up as it comes to the edge. So while I'm working, I'm looking to replicate these values as closely as possible, just using the black. So just like when we were using creating the value scale, or doing yesterday's interlocking shapes, we definitely want to work first with our black and then add our white. So you can see I have this section here that's kind of gray. So I am like letting my lighter pencil pressure kind of stand in. This shadow here kind of comes straight down inside the pepper. So I'm gonna sort of start to work that way. You'll hear that slight squeak, and that just is an indicator that I'm pressing probably harder than I should. I'll always prefer like lighter layers to pressure, but pressure is a sign of rushing actually. Now remember that you can always also use one of the blending techniques for this process. I personally prefer to just use my pencil. I am not a huge fan of any of the blending techniques in general. I find that they're great for things like special effects, if I want a particular visual effect, but I personally find that I prefer my charcoal work to just utilize clean value just with the pressure of my pencil itself. Obviously, I'm going to continue this process, and it's going to take me a while. So you're going to have today and tomorrow to work on this illustration. And you can see that as I start to have I'm trying to work myself to getting a few lighter whites in here as quickly as possible, just so you can see that happening. So I'm working my way along this outer section of the pepper, where there is this kind of grayish band. This outer edge is darker than the inside edge, but the inside edge is not white. So I'm gonna get a little charcoal on there. So once I'm reasonably happy with the black, I can come back now with my white, and then I will have to adjust the other direction as well. So these seeds are sort of part of one of the lighter things that's here. I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple of those in. This center portion of this pepper where it's cut is quite light too. I have to get some of those details in. But you can see I'm going to work. The great thing about working with charcoal is you do have the capability to just really make your drawing like ultra photorealistic. I have sort of a love-hate relationship with charcoal. I love the effects that you can achieve with charcoal. I love the drawings that you can achieve with charcoal. I don't always appreciate the mess of charcoal. Like I said, we will have 2 days to work on this, quite simply because it will not be possible for you to create the sort of drawing that we need to with just 1 day. And you'll see that even working as quickly as I can, I am not getting particularly far, particularly fast with this pepper. All right. Remember also that you can use whichever blending technique you most prefer. So if you liked using the blending stump, if you liked using the paintbrush, at a certain point, I will probably use a little bit of paintbrush just to blend some of the charcoal, or like I said, for particular visual effect. But right now, my focus is just strictly using the pencil itself. I'm probably going to use some eraser just to get this kind of bumpy texture in the inner edge of the pepper. So you kind of want to think about what kind of texture effect does the blending effect give you, and how can you utilize that to your best end result. All right, so have fun drawing an object using charcoal.